Hi guys, Scotty here with another DBZ Dokkan Battle video for you. In this video, we're going to be looking at Stage 2 of the Daima Redzone and completing all missions in this video. So, firstly, we're going to start off with the full power team. You need to beat this with a full team, 6 characters of full power categories. I'm going to have the team that I used on the left there. You should be able to see it now. And yeah, there are a lot of good options in here, very Broly centric, and you do need that tech Frieza / Gogeta unit. He is going to be a huge help here because this boss is quite a pain. So you could really just go the route of creating a domain with the int Broly to get rid of the Tamagami's domain, but in this video I go a different route. We're going to use the tech Frieza / Gogeta to just tank everything and do huge damage at the end of the turn. Does require a little bit of luck with locking, because this boss is quite irritating that he locks. And I guess with that, let's jump into what the boss's stats are. So Tamagami number 2 is going to have 250 million health. He is going to be doing a 2.1 million super, and he raises his attack by 30% when he supers. He locks character switching, which is quite a pain, reduces damage below a certain amount to 0. He gets an attack and defense plus 50% boost when his HP is 50% or less. And what's quite concerning is he deals 30% of your max HP as damage to you every single turn. You won't be KO'd by this, but if he gets you down to 1, it's not going to matter, because you'll obviously, even a normal will do more than that, and you'll be dead. So you've got to fight this boss quite quickly, or rely on major healing from your units to sort of get you through if this is going to take a little bit longer. Now, tactic I went for was we got a little bit lucky with the rotations. You kind of do hope that you're going to get a tech Frieza on each rotation, and best case scenario is right at the end, or him not to get locked. But if he gets locked, hopefully it's right at the end, or at least in the second slot, because when you pop his active, it's going to be a taunt, and that is going to save all your other units from the attacks, as well as let him do huge damage. So he didn't get lucky here. Unfortunately, he got locked in slot 1. Is still worth activating his taunt, just so you don't need to worry about your other units if they are not built up, or they're going to take too much damage from a Tamagami. Just do that, pop it anyway, save them, and then the rest of the units should carry you through the fight anyway with their damage. Now, a key unit here is LRSTR Broly, the super easy aid one. Unfortunately, he was in 7th slot. He would do a huge amount of damage to this boss because he's a STR unit. He hits very hard, and this is a physical enemy. So he would be great for this. Unfortunately, he is in slot 7, so we're just going to have to kind of wait for him to come around. And like I said, we got quite unlucky with the tech Frieza being locked in the first slot. But if you get lucky, you can 2-turn this pretty much by tech Frieza taking enough hits in the 3rd slot on each rotation, and then he'll just do huge damage and hopefully crit for you, like he's not doing here for me. And he'll hopefully crit and kill the boss for you pretty much in 2 turns. It kind of trivializes this. Otherwise, what you can do is just in the 3rd turn, you can pretty much just pop a Wheeze or 2 or a Ghost Usher and have that free turn, and you should be able to kill him within 3 turns. Sorry, I was thinking 90% health for the 3 turns because he minuses 30% health every single turn. So you should be able to kill him within 3 turns with this team without any issue. And yeah, that's all there is pretty much to it. He's not the most ridiculous, at least he doesn't crit, but his domain does boost him up a little bit. So if you do want to create a domain to make sure that you are safe and do that, hopefully you can get the LR int Broly to pop off his domain. He does need a full complement of uncontrollable power units though, unfortunately, to be on the same rotation. You just need to hopefully get that right, and then he can pop his domain, which will switch off the Tamagami's domain, which will then weaken Tamagami a bit, so he won't be as strong. Yeah, we don't get it here because we don't have an uncontrollable power unit we've only got 2 of them there, we need a 3rd one, but yeah, I think we're going to pop a Wheeze here just to make sure we can secure the victory. I don't think Frieza will probably be okay. It's not, this fight isn't crazy, but you know what, if you just want to, I didn't want us to go on another turn, although in that next turn we could definitely finish this off without problem on that rotation, but I wasn't trusting the Frieza because I think Frieza's been failing me just a little bit with the crits lately, but this boss doesn't crit, so maybe I should have been had a little bit more faith in the boy. and thought he was gonna. But anyway, you don't have to use an item here if you don't want to. I just wanted to secure the win. And we do manage to do so. And that is pretty much all there is to it. That is my method for getting this stage done. So let's hop on to the next stage. Not stage, sorry, the next team. And what you are going to want to do for the next team is you need to have 5 terrifying Conquerors units. Sorry, I do apologize, guys. My voice is a bit rough. I have been a bit sick, and I'm just trying to get some of this content out there. So hopefully it doesn't come out too terribly in the video. Anyway, so the key point here is for this fight, you only need 5 terrifying Conquerors, not 6. So to get this mission done, you can bring a team of 5. I've got my team on the left there, and as you can see, I brought 5. I think of the best terrifying Conquerors we've currently got. Not a crazy up-to-date good category lately. And then I brought the Tech Broly along, the movie bosses one, but you could honestly substitute probably the because again it's movie bosses slash movie heroes. You could probably put other Tech Broly on there, or the Int Broly. Another one of the Brolys would work. You don't have to use this one if you don't have him. I know he's a bit more recent of an LR, but he is quite cool, and he does a lot of damage. It's not provided you can put him in the way of damage, which you can't really have too much of a choice in this fight, unfortunately, because of the locking. But again, we're going to try to do something fun here with the Tech Frieza wherever we can. We use his taunt to get us, like, look at that meaty 100 million attack. We use the taunt to get a really, really big attack, and we got lucky on the first rotation, so we had him in the 3rd slot there. I think again we get unlucky in the 2nd rotation, and we get him locked in the 1st slot, but at least he gives us pretty much 2 free turns of damage, and then we can kind of look and assess where we are and what needs to happen. Do we need to pop items to get this done, and what can we do? And that should then buy us even more time. So yeah, do try pay attention to your healing here, like your orbs especially. It's a big thing with that 30% damage every single turn. So this Tamagami doesn't have a ton of health, but it's just more about either you go the route of creating the domain to sort of dull him down a bit and he's not so powerful, or you need to have a very defensive unit and then kill him quickly so that he doesn't get too much of that 30% max health, because it's always your 30% of your max health. So it's basically, if you're not healing in between turns, you've got 3 turns before you are at a fatal amount of health there. So yeah, like I said, we got unlucky again with this Tech Frieza being in slot 1. Bit of a weird category to suddenly do a team for, a category mission for. I imagine they know that it's not the greatest category at the moment because they only want you to use 5. So I actually haven't checked if that AGL... No, I highly doubt the new Doma would be on Terrifying Conquerors. He wasn't trying to conquer anything. But yeah, not the really weird category, to be honest, to do a missions for, although this took me, I think, 2 tries, so you might need to do it 2 or 3 times just to get the right RNG, and yeah, you should hopefully be able to get everything right. We managed to get him quite low in the 2nd rotation here, and that reducing damage below a certain amount to 0 starts hurting us with these units. However, once we get along to our next turn here, we are just going to double pop. We're just going, listen, we probably didn't need to. I was just making sure we got the win, and that Turles at the end there is a bit weak, and he's a bit older, and we were under 50% HP, so I knew we only had 50% damage reduction on the tech here, so I just went ahead and popped 2 E's. That gives us 2 turns basically free, and I knew we would be able to clean up on the final leg there with those 2 Tech Freezes and Broly there, and that is pretty much where the most of our damage comes from, is getting those guys on that last rotation there. And then this rotation was pretty uneventful, so we're going to jump to the end here quickly. Okay, so we still have an entire turn of 80% damage reduction, which means we are completely immune this turn with these guys. The amount of damage reduction we have on both Freezers, and then Broly might actually not... No, he should be immune as well, because he should still have that 30% damage reduction. So we're going to pop the axes we have, and yeah, we're just going to go to town and hope that we just kill in the first turn here, because both the units at the back there, Broly and Frieza, they need to take hits to start doing damage. So we do actually basically need to kill on the first slot here, otherwise we're going to be doing no damage at the back, and that is going to mean our damage is going to get reduced to 0, and we're not going to finish this out. So at least we are taking some damage up front, so Frieza can gain some attack here, and we should pretty much finish this out pretty quickly. I think we've come quite close here, actually, though, to not finishing this out. Yeah, because, ooh, tiny little bit of health left, and we get the final super, and we should be totally fine here. All done, safe and sound. Yeah, and that is how you get the terrifying Conquerors mission done. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope this helped, and I will check you guys in the next one. Cheers.